Welcome to The Explainer. This week, we're diving deep into the AI undercurrent, and the real story, you'll see, isn't about some new gadget. It's about a fundamental shift in power, a shift from Silicon Valley straight to Washington.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Yeah, there were plenty of shiny new gadgets this week, for sure. But the biggest story? It wasn't a product you can hold in your hand. No, it was this massive underlying shift in how technology meets power and how AI is moving from the lab into the halls of government and, well, into our daily lives.
And that's exactly it. For 1 week, the whole center of the AI universe just wasn't in Silicon Valley anymore. It was in Washington, D.C. And that simple change in geography, it signals a huge change in what actually matters for the future of artificial intelligence.
NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang really set the tone. His point was just crystal clear. AI is no longer a playground for developers. Nope. It's now a critical piece of national strategy, right up there with economic policy and defense. It's that serious.
I mean, the change is just stark when you look at it like this. The conversations have completely pivoted. It's not about showing off faster processing speeds anymore. It's about discussing regulation, targeting enormous federal contracts, and making sure the supply chain that powers all this stuff is secure. This is AI growing up. It's getting serious.
But you know, as AI gets this powerful, its impact on our lives becomes so personal. And it's creating this real tension between incredible promise on one hand and some very real peril on the other. We saw both sides of that coin this week.
So, on the promise side of things, we got this incredible news from Johns Hopkins. Researchers showed that an AI-powered app could actually deliver lifestyle interventions to people with prediabetes, and it worked. It effectively reduced their risk of developing the full-blown disease. I mean, this is life-changing, scalable healthcare delivered through the phone that's already in your pocket. Amazing.
And then there's the peril. In a Baltimore high school, an AI surveillance system made a catastrophic mistake. It mistook a student's bag of chips for a weapon, and that false positive led to the student being handcuffed by police. It's just a traumatic, awful reminder that these systems can be wrong, with serious real-world consequences.
And that really brings us to the central challenge, doesn't it? How do we build systems that can prevent diabetes without also creating systems that wrongly accuse a student of something terrible? This is the tightrope that developers, regulators, and really all of us are walking right now.
You know, if you really want to understand where AI is heading, it's pretty simple. Follow the money. And this week, the numbers flowing into AI companies were just staggering. It paints a very clear picture of the future that investors are betting on.
Just take Mercor, an AI hiring platform. It just raised $350 million. That pushes its valuation to a massive $10 billion. Venture capital is betting that AI won't just be some tool for recruiters. No, they're betting it's going to fundamentally change how companies find, assess, and hire people, moving way beyond resumes to skills-based matching at a huge scale.
And it's happening everywhere you look. We're seeing huge investments in AI for understanding documents, for designing the next generation of computer chips, for creating smarter radar, and even for managing our internet infrastructure. AI is fast becoming the foundational layer for, well, for everything.
So the crucial takeaway here is that the biggest players, they're making these enormous bets that go way beyond just software. NVIDIA's reported $3 billion investment in a robotaxi initiative that shows they believe AI is ready to move from our screens into our physical world, running everything from our cars to our supply chains. Okay, so while AI obviously dominated the headlines, it wasn't the only story this week, not by a long shot. Let's take a look at some of the other important things happening across the tech landscape.
So Apple Pay, for example, has kind of quietly become this global powerhouse. It's now in 89 markets, and get this, it covers a staggering 9 out of 10 retailers in the United States. And maybe even more impressively, its security features have saved merchants over $1 billion in fraud in just the last year alone.
In the world of gadgets, DJI is about to drop its new Neo 2 drone, and the combination of features and price here is just remarkable. For only $229, you're getting 4K HDR video, a 10-kilometer transmission range, and 19 minutes of flight time, all in this tiny little package. That is professional-level power at a seriously consumer-friendly price.
And elsewhere, we saw Meta push a huge software update for its Quest 3 VR headset, promising some big improvements. We also got word that Wi-Fi 8 is progressing way faster than expected. And of course, all eyes are on Tesla as its shareholders get ready for a really high-stakes vote on Elon Musk's pay package. It's a good reminder that even with all the focus on AI, the whole tech world just keeps moving at an incredible pace.
All right, for our last section, let's zoom way out and look at the deep science. I'm talking about the fundamental breakthroughs happening in labs right now that are going to power all the technologies we just talked about for decades to come. So, this is wild. Physicists just discovered a completely bizarre new state of matter called rotating crystals. Okay, so try to imagine a solid made of particles that are constantly spinning, which allows the material to twist and behave in ways that almost seem to defy the traditional laws of physics. The potential for materials that act almost like they're alive it's just mind-boggling.
And the progress here really breaks down into the most fundamental building blocks. We have new 2D materials that can trap light, which could lead to new kinds of sensors and computers. Sodium batteries are actually getting good enough to challenge lithium, promising cheaper, more abundant energy storage. And tiny new lasers can now be mass-produced right on a microchip. This is the stuff our future is being built on.
And you know, this kind of innovation isn't just happening in a lab somewhere. It's driving global economic strategy. A nation like Saudi Arabia is actively re-engineering its entire economy. With 40% of its revenue now coming from non-oil sources, it's making these massive investments in AI and data centers to build a future based on technology, not just fossil fuels.
So from Washington policy and billion-dollar investments, all the way to rotating crystals and a student with a bag of chips, it is so clear we're living through a foundational shift. The very rules of technology, economics, and even physics are being rewritten as we speak. And that leaves us with a critical question. As we build this new world, are we going to use this incredible power to create a future of promise or one of peril? The choice is still ours to make.